Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Beltec Street Performance Rear Shock for 5 to 7 inch drop, fitting 2007 to 2018 Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Now if you're lowering your truck 5 to 7 inches, you need good shocks to match. Enter the Beltec Street Performance Rear Shock. Now this is a premium shock absorber that's going to give you all the control and tech you need to make your lowered truck ride and handle as good as it looks. Just like when you lift a truck, when you drop a truck's ride height, especially if that drop is big, you're changing around the suspension geometry significantly. So that can negatively affect ride, handling, and the longevity of your suspension components. So you need a shock that is designed for just such an application. Now this one from lowering experts Beltec is specifically designed for Silverados and Sierras that have been lowered 5 to 7 inches in the rear. It's got a lot of good stuff packed in to make sure your truck won't feel like an old Civic on cut springs. So let's dive into it. Now this is a gas-charged twin tube shock. It's got a large nitrogen reservoir and a large oil reservoir inside, and the twin tube design reduces the mixing of that oil and nitrogen, which means that damping delays are reduced and so is cavitation, which means you're not going to get bubbling in the fluid, and that means that these will continue to perform at their best no matter the situation. Now all that also means that the shock has an increased lifespan and better overall durability thanks to that superior heat dissipation. Beltec also tunes each shock for specific applications. So this one again is specifically designed for Silverados and Sierras that have been dropped 5 to 7 inches. And you can expect the damping and rebound performance to match accordingly. Now inside here again are application-specific rebound and compression valves with bleed shims and springs. So this is what is commonly referred to as a progressive damper. So as opposed to standard shims like you find in many other shocks, when the piston sees an increase in speed, there's a spring in the valve inside that can move and allow for more flow, thus allowing for faster response from the damper. So if you're executing, say, a quick lane change, if you hit a big pothole, or if you're just riding down a really bumpy road, this can react quickly, giving you lots of control and a smoother ride. Now this is also going to complement large aftermarket wheels, so you get a smooth ride even with a smaller sidewall, but it's still going to be one that is firm and leaves you feeling in control of your truck. Now we've kind of touched on a lot of this already, as most of a shock absorber's feature set is dictated by its construction. This one does feature a huge 55mm shock body covering up those large oil and nitrogen reservoirs. Inside you get a low friction sealing system, Teflon guide bushing, and a 35mm piston, plus those specially tuned valves we discussed earlier. Now all of that is controlled by a 15mm chromed hardened piston rod that is covered by this nice metal dust boot. So it's going to help keep out dirt and debris, and it's going to extend the life of the shock. At the mounting points you'll find vulcanized rubber bushings and galvanized steel sleeves already included for reduced friction and deflection, as well as reduced noise, vibration, and harshness. Pricing comes in at about $90 per shock, and I say per shock because these are sold separately, hence the reason I've only got one up here on the table. So make sure you make that quantity in your cart too before you buy. But for all the good stuff you get baked in here, that is a darn good value for your money. Good performance shocks usually don't come cheap, especially under $100, but there are exceptions to every rule, and I think we found a really good one here. The good news continues, as we're going to give installation for this a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect it to take you about 1 hour to complete the job. Now this is again a simple bolt-on install, no modifications necessary. Of course, you'll spend more time doing the other side to match, but overall this is a very straightforward process that just bolts right onto your truck. And now to walk you through that process, let's hand things over to one of our AT customers.
These are the tools that I use pretty much to drill 3/16 socket and the open wrench, and I would use safety glasses because all the dirt and all the oil and stuff falling in your eyes. So that's it. Okay, so I got my Beltec 5 to 7 inch drop for my 2015 Chevy 1500. So we're gonna go ahead and install these. But first we're gonna take off my my air shocks I have on. So we're gonna go underneath the truck and do that right now. Okay, so here we are on the bottom of the truck. and I'm using a socket with a 13/16. I would start with the bottom. I think it'll be easier to go at the bottom. And I have my drill, so we'll see if we can get in there like that. Get it off. And you're gonna have to hold it on both ends. Oh, the socket won't fit, but this wrench will. So you're gonna have to hold the bolt on this end, and then with the drill. There we go. It's out. There we go. And then the top bolt. And then on the other end, the bolt is actually welded. So you don't have to hold it with the other side. You don't have to hold the bolt. This should just come out. Okay, there we go. And voila, came out fast. Let's see. You have to wiggle it because it's in there kind of snug. Use your muscles. Alright. And then I'm going to detach the hose to my air shocks. And now we're installing the Beltec shock. Yeah, okay. So you want to start off with doing the top part first. It'll be that much easier because it'll kind of just hold itself up, and then let's see. Alright, now I'm screwing it in. Now I can't screw it in. I gotta use the tool now. But we're just gonna go ahead and just push this up the bottom so we can line it up with the bottom bolt. There we go. Everything's in. Now we're gonna put the bolt on this end. Alright, that's in. Alright, now we're gonna tighten the top. Pretty long, so it's gonna be a little minute. And then, you know, if you want to make it a little easier, I guess, you can jack it up. But I'm actually underneath my truck without even jacking it up or using any jack stands or anything. So it's just whatever you prefer. Alright, there we go. That's in there. And then for this, once again, I'm gonna use the drill. There we go. In, and then I'm just gonna hand tight it just to make sure it's good to go. And yep, that's in there. Alright, so that's done. Now we're gonna go do the other side. Same thing. So let's go do the other side now. Now we're on the other shock. This side actually has more space. I can actually use the drill. So there that goes. Let me see. Lift it up. Oh, there we go. Look, you just use the wrench, open wrench. Lift it up because the pressure. Get the bolt out just like that. Nice sound effects. All right, and we're back, guys. Sorry about the difficulties. Kind of ran out of space with the storage, so had to grab the iPad. All right, so I'm gonna tighten the top, and then once again, you know, the bolt is actually welded on the other end over here, so you don't have to hold it with anything. Oh, there we go. And that's in the top. You gotta hold it with the wrench. And that's in. I'm gonna go ahead and secure it by hand now. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, and we're done. So, we're done. And then right now I'm gonna show you the drop, what the drop looks like. So we'll go ahead and get out from under the truck.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Beltec Street Performance rear shock for a 5 to 7 inch drop fitting 2007 to 2018 Silverado and Sierra 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Silverado and Sierra, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.